Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at Noon.
A violent crash on a Scott County road kills 2 young fathers and a 3-year-old boy.
A UK football player is set to be arraigned here in Fayette County Court this afternoon after being charged with first-degree rape.
Bright blue skies outside, few clouds filtering in here and there. This is a gorgeous day in store, the last dry day we see in our 7-day forecast. Fully dry day. I'll show you all that coming up with some wet weather on the way. WKYT News and News starts right now.
And good afternoon from WKYT News. I'm Barbara Bailey.
And I'm Bill Bryant. Here's what's happening. There is a lot of cleaning up to do this noon hour after a line of strong storms rocked many sections of the bluegrass.
Now, one of the hardest hit areas was in Bourbon County. The National Weather Service has confirmed an EF1 tornado did touch down there. WKYT's Sean Moody kicks off our top story team coverage on storm damage from Bourbon County.
As the sun came up over Paris this morning, people came back to Claysville.
I've been here my whole life, never seen anything quite like that. It's crazy.
They traded stories.
I mean, it was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and then she called me back and she said, Doris, the tornado has hit our house. And I'm going, what? I was like, no way, Mama. And she's like, yeah, absolutely.
Others came to get things.
You need medicine too?
Yeah. You let me in to get medicine?
I think you probably have to ask them.
For some, though,
it's just gone.
There just wasn't much left to come back to.
All I can say is just gone. It's just gone.
Bridget Clark said she was in her kitchen when the tornado hit.
It just seemed like it was just like in slow motion, and then all of a sudden the roof just caved down on my head, and then it sounded like just a swift wind just blew me out the side of my kitchen door, and there I was laying on the porch with debris and my door and everything laying on top of me.
Somehow she made it out of this storm with just a few stitches.
Really, I don't think I should have made it, but I did. God wasn't ready for me right now. He wasn't. He let me live another day.
That was the only injury reported here. The National Weather Service is surveying the area today. They'll figure out the details of what happened last night, while the people who live here try to figure out tomorrow. Now, the National Weather Service survey team came through here this morning. They say this was an EF1 tornado. They say it was probably between 50 and 75 yards wide. They think it was on the ground for about a quarter of a mile. The Paris city manager told me he expects power to be back on here to the area around 4 o'clock. For now, police are letting people in and out of the Clarksville neighborhood to get belongings, but they can't stay here just yet. Live in Bourbon County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you. And the National Weather Service is also expected to be in Harrison County this afternoon as a possible tornado was reported there as well. This is eyewitness video of a funnel cloud captured near Cynthiana last night. WKYT's Victor Puente continues our top story team coverage with a look at the damage there. Victor?
From where I'm standing, you can see 3 barns that have been destroyed and dozens of trees snapped in half. Those storms hit Al Saunders' farm hard, leveling 2 barns and damaging a lot of equipment. A third building was also heavily damaged when the roof from one of those barns was thrown into it. They spent this morning trying to free a tractor from under one of those barns so they could use the front loader on it for cleanup. Across US 62, you can see another destroyed barn and some downed trees. The National Weather Service will be touring this area today to try to determine if it was a tornado, like so many viewers told us they saw. Saunders says he has a lot of cleanup, but he's thankful that despite all that damage, no one was hurt.
I really did not know what to expect when I got here. I'm very thankful that no one was hurt, no one was killed. This is all things can be replaced, and feel fortunate that it wasn't worse than it was.
After those storms, there were thousands of people in and around Cynthiana without power. But according to the power company's outage map, those have been restored. In Harrison County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. We're finally getting some calm after 2 days of severe weather here in the Bluegrass, but the break could be short-lived because more rain is in the forecast for the weekend. It could be lots of it. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is live in our First Alert Weather Center with a look ahead. Micah?
Yeah, we're looking outside and seeing a beautiful day in store. You gotta love it. And look, today is your dry day there in the forecast. In the next several days, you're not going to get many dry days, so you better go ahead, get outside, and just kind of take off and enjoy the day. Keeneland kicks off here in about an hour, and we're going to see the gates open right around 1 p.m. 63 degrees. It'll feel quite nice. Heading in toward the rest of the afternoon, upper 60s to lower 70s. It'll be a great day, and this is your day to do it because tomorrow we'll have at least a small chance of some showers, and then head toward Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Looks very sloppy. We'll go off into your weekend and really break it down day by day coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, and we'll see you then. Thank you. We're learning some new information this midday about a crash that killed 3 people in central Kentucky. Police say a car crossed the center line and collided with an SUV on Kentucky 227 between Stamping Ground and Georgetown. The 2 drivers and a 3-year-old boy were killed. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel is in Scott County with the latest on the investigation into that. Whitney?
It was on this road during yesterday's heavy rain that 2 vehicles collided head-on, leaving 2 families without their loved ones. The crash happened just after 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon on Kentucky 227. Deputies say 4 people were in a Ford Explorer, 22-year-old Trevor Spencer, his pregnant wife, and 2 children. Their SUV collided head-on with a Ford Mustang. 29-year-old Corey Wilcoxon was the driver of that car. His daughter was a passenger. Authorities say heavy rain caused Wilcoxon to cross the center line in a curve. Spencer, his 3-year-old son Skylar Spencer, and Wilcoxon all died at the scene. Authorities tell us Spencer's wife went into labor shortly after the crash. We're told she delivered a healthy baby at UK Hospital. She, along with her daughter and Wilcoxon's daughter, who were also taken to UK, are expected to recover. Now, we were able to talk to Wilcoxon's manager at Buffalo Wild Wings in Georgetown. We learned that he had been a cook there for a few months and was a funny guy to work with. That manager did not want to go on camera, but told us he talked to Wilcoxon shortly before the accident. He said he would be running late for work because his daughter was running a fever and he had to take her to the hospital. Investigators tell us everyone involved in this accident was wearing a seatbelt and all of the children were in proper car seats. In Scott County, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Whitney, thank you. The manager at Buffalo Wild Wings says the restaurant also plans to hold a fundraiser for the Wilcoxon family for his 3 children.
A UK football player accused of raping a woman on campus will answer to the charges this afternoon. 19-year-old Lloyd Tubman is accused of a rape in a UK dorm room last week. He's been suspended indefinitely from the team. WKYT's Jordan Valines is outside the Fayette County Court complex, where he'll face a judge in less than an hour. Jordan?
In under an hour, 20-year-old Lloyd Tubman is set to be arraigned here in Fayette County Court. This all comes just 1 day after the young man was indefinitely suspended from the University of Kentucky football team. Tubman's arrest citation shows that a woman called police on October 2nd to report that Tubman, an acquaintance of hers, had sexually assaulted her in her dorm room on UK's campus. According to the citation, the victim allowed Tubman up to her dorm room where a verbal altercation quickly turned physical and even involved Tubman allegedly biting the victim on the back. Yesterday, Tubman, a 6'5" and 250-pound freshman, was charged with first-degree rape and placed in the Fayette County Detention Center. Shortly after the arrest, Coach Mark Stoops commented on the incident, saying, quote, "It's obviously not a situation that anyone wants to be in. We're here to coach and teach and mentor and love, and this is a situation nobody wants to be in," end quote. First-degree rape is a Class B felony here in the state of Kentucky, punishable by 10 to 20 years in prison. In Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Jordan, thank you. Lloyd Tubman is a freshman defensive end from Louisville. Well, this is just in now to our newsroom. The superintendent of Jessamine County, Kathy Field, says West Jessamine high schools will be dismissing early due to a water main break. The water main break only affects West Jessamine High School.
Well, there are new developments on the Ebola front here at midday. The patient from Liberia who was being treated in Dallas has died.
Omar Villafranca has the latest from Dallas.
The first person diagnosed in the United States with Ebola has died. Thomas Eric Duncan was in critical condition for days at Dallas Hospital. The 42-year-old arrived from Liberia late last month and had been treated with an experimental drug. Health officials say this is the week when Duncan's family and other people he had direct or indirect contact with could start developing symptoms if they were infected. Concerns over Ebola have airlines on alert. Emergency crews boarded an American Airlines flight in Midland, Texas overnight after a passenger got sick. Hazmat crews took the woman to the hospital, but they say it's unlikely she has Ebola since she did not have a fever and was not traveling from West Africa. Passengers on board were told to contact officials if they get flu-like symptoms.
I was kind of scared for my family. I didn't want to take it home to my wife or my kids.
The flight originated here in Dallas. With growing concern over a possible Ebola outbreak here in the United States, federal health officials plan to unveil new screening procedures at the nation's airports.
We're looking hard at what we can do to further increase the safety of Americans. And in the coming days, we will announce further measures that will be taken.
New screening steps could include checking travelers from West Africa for fever. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Dallas.
Now, the patient in Dallas was on a breathing machine for the last few days and also suffering kidney failure. Jennifer Lawrence is lashing out over nude photos leaked online last month.
In an interview with Vanity Fair, the Kentucky native called the scandal a, quote, sex crime and said anyone who looked at the photos should cower in shame. As for the hackers themselves, she says they are disgusting, and she's calling for laws saying that such penalties should be stiffer for crimes like that. Apple has acknowledged that hackers broke into the iCloud accounts of Lawrence and several other stars. The company has since announced plans to tighten its online security.